السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All praise, adoration, magnification, and genuflection belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first who has no beginning and the last who has no end, the Lord of incomparable majesty. I will beseech his blessings, mercies upon the noblest of mankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his households, companions, and the generality of Muslims till the day of recompensation. I welcome you all to another edition of the MFB Usrah. Uh, Inshallah, we with our fortnightly Usra, we aim to achieve awareness, teaching, and remodeling of the society of the Muslims for the betterment of spirituality, morals, home, family, and all spheres that Islam aims to improve in our living. Inshallah, today we'll be looking also at another wonderful topic. I hope we can hear me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can someone respond in the chat session with the response to the Teslim, please? Okay, great. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All right. So, inshallah, today, just like we always do, we're going to look at another basic topic, a very important one in the lives of Muslims. And what's the topic? It is al-haya. That is the concept of modesty in Islam. And modesty, we are always hearing, oh, this person is a bit too much in their approach, or this person is a bit too less in their approach. And how are we supposed to be in terms of being modest humans, modest spiritual persons who are trying to be conscious in their faith? Inshallah, to do justice to al-haya, modesty, is Honorable Ustaz, a teacher, a model to many of us. I have personally been a benefactor of his wealth of knowledge, inshallah, and he's no other than Ustad Abdul Kabir Hussein. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him in our midst already. So I'll hand over the invisible microphone to our Sheikh bi'idhnillah. If you are able to use your video now, Ustad, and unmute. Ustad Abdul Kabir Hussein, can you hear me?
1 minute, sir.
No, alhamdulillah.
Oh,
Now,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Hello?
now we can hear you. Jazakumullah khair.
نعم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل لساني يفقهوا قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. إن الحمد لله نعمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وليا مرشدا. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. وبعد أحييكم بالتحية الأسى أقول السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alaikum
We
salam wa
thank
rahmatullah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for out of His infinite mercy, He has given us this opportunity to be part of this program this afternoon. We pray Allah bless our discussion, so that at the end of the day, it will be an hujjah for us and not against us. Now, just like the moderator has rightly mentioned, so the topic we'll be looking at today is al-ahya fil Islam. So modesty in Islam. So if we look at that topic, it's something that is very, very important, very comprehensive indeed, and it is highly needed, especially this time, because of what it entails. I mean, talking about modesty in Islam, in Arabic, it is Hayaa, which has the same, root word with life, which is al hayahu, life. So, meaning that if you want to talk about life, a lifeless or somebody that has life, as far as Islam is concerned, then that he must is expected to have that haya. So that is why for a Muslim we cannot do without it. It is very, very important, very comprehensive indeed. And it goes beyond, like many of us know, that, okay, talk about Hayaa, maybe the way someone is dressing, the way someone is talking, mashallah, in the public. Oh, that sister is very, he has, is very modest when it comes to, the outward disposition, what we see, ordinarily say, but it goes beyond that. And that is why today, at the end of today's lecture, then probably we will have more understanding with regards what Aya is. We're going to take us through some of the interpretation given by some scholars, from the Quran, from the Hadith sayings of the Prophet, the Sahaba, and the like. So, and some other things, which other points which are relevant to this topic, as discussed by the contemporary scholars as well. So, just like I mentioned, it is something that is not limited, but also includes, you know, behavior, speech, intention, and interaction with others. So it's if someone is said to have this quality, it is manifested in some of these things which I've mentioned: your speech, interaction with others, your disposition generally, your behavior, everything. We will see from there, okay, whether you have it or not. And let's just talk about, let me just mention some of the hadiths that mentioned, that talked about al-Hayya. There's a particular hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. This one was narrated by, I think, Umar. This one is you get this one in both Muslim and Sahih Buhari. So it's hadith muttafaq alayh. There was a time a Sahaba, an Ansari to be precise, was admonishing his brother, was admonishing his brother with regards modesty. The Prophet was passing by, he just saw him and said, what did the Prophet do? He just said, oh, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, da'u, fa inna al-aya min al-iman. He said, Prophet was encouraging him, said, leave him. A kind of encouragement for the Sahaba, that for surely modesty, it's part of iman, it's part of faith. So that's to tell us, to show, to demonstrate the significance of al-Haya in Islam. So that is that. There's another hadith similar to that, when Prophet Muhammad was said to have was reported to have said that al-Haya la yati illa bi khair. Modesty will not come, or someone will not demonstrate modesty except that the result of that will be good. So there's no regret. In essence, there's no level of modesty, demonstrated that will lead to regret. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, Mugun, yeah, what is this? Where all this sort of thing. No, there's no how. As long as it is in line with the Sunnah, the what Islam preaches, there's no regret. So here and in the hereafter, that is say, al-ayam la yati illa bi khair. Muttafaq alayh. There is another hadith which is somehow similar to that. Okay, let me say this one is, this one is popular. Most of us must have heard this or this. When Prophet was talking about the branches of faith, he said, Al-Iman, Bid'un, wa sab'una, aw bid'un wa situna shu'ba. Meaning that Iman can be, divided into different branches or different parts. Could be 70 something, maybe 73, 74, 70, or 63, 65, 60, like that, to 69. We said, for Afdaluha, but the best, the highest, the one that is, it's what? Called La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah is at the peak of Iman. When you talk about the branches of Iman. Say, Wa adinaha imatatul aza anin tariq. That is taking something from an harmful object from the path. It is part of Iman. When you see someone going, picking broken bottles or harmful objects, say, is this one not mad? Why is this one picking something? It's not mad. It's an act of Iman. You should praise that person for doing that. So it could be an object that is obstructing the road. Just as a Muslim, because you want to demonstrate that part of Iman, you can do it, but that is the least. But he now said, he now concluded that, he now said, Wal Hayaa shu'batun min al-Iman. But modesty, it's part of that faith. So when scholars are explaining this, they said being part of that means that it comprises the major part, not just a bit. It encompasses larger parts of what they are talking about here. So that is why, as far as Islam is concerned, this topic we are discussing today, it's very, 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 very important. So we should not take it with levity. It is something. If someone is deficient in this area, then Islam will be something. It will be nothing to write home about, because this is not what is expected of us, to practice Islam without being modest. Going forward, let me just mention, okay, there's a particular hadith. This one is narrated by Abu Hurairah. He said, let me try to remember the way he said. He said, that hadith, he said, if la yazni zani wa huwa mu'min, whoever, somebody that is a fornicator, he will not remain a mu'min while perpetrating that act. So this iman is like a cloth, the garment. Once you are a fornicator is perpetrating that act of fornication, the garment will be removed, taken off him. So meaning that his iman is zero. The same thing goes to someone that is stealing. At that particular time is doing that act, his iman is what? Zero. So, but by the time he finishes and he now repents, then do tawbah, maybe the iman will start coming back gradually, depending on how serious he is with his tawbah. If he's sincere, if it is tawbah to nasuha, Allah will restore that iman. If not, then he will remain blank. May Allah save us from that. Imam Ibn Qayyim was reported to have even explained that if the person, like someone that is trying to steal something from an apartment, you now notice a sort of movement. Maybe someone is trying to, you notice that someone is trying to open the door, and now hide, that a person has not only committed, is not only found wanting when it comes to modesty, but he has also committed what is called shirk. So some of us, we believe shirk is just like when you have something and you are worshiping it, you are prostrating, you are giving it. No. Anything that involves you giving something that is meant for Allah to something else other than Allah, whether living like angel, man, jinn, anything in terms of his attributes, love, fear, and everything, it is shirk. Then whether you give it, you share it with, you share something that is meant for Allah with other than Allah, or you give it to Allah. So it's a kind of shirk. So it's a broad topic on its own. But that's to tell you how serious this issue of, you can see someone not only found wanting in terms of Hayaa, but it has also even led to what is known as shirk billah. How come? So meaning that the person was not even, was not even conscious of Allah when he was perpetrating that evil. I mean, stealing. But when he noticed that someone is coming, but he is ashamed from people to see him perpetrating that act, but not for Allah. And who should we fear? Who should we be ashamed of? It is Allah. So he has elevated mankind to over Allah in terms of what? Being modest. So that kind of thing is very, very bad. It should have even better not to run and stay, face the consequence. So may Allah save us from that. Now, let me just mention this one. As I had this by when the Prophet said, "Man lam yastatih min Allah, man lam yastatih min Allah fil aniya fil alaniya lam yastatih min Allah fi sirr." Whoever is not being modest from Allah in the open, he doesn't care, he does whatever he wants, then he will not even do that when it comes to privacy. So it's so many people, they do that in the public, but when it comes to their privacy, yes, they will not do that. But when you see someone doing contrary, not being modest in the public, then what do you expect in the private? So that is that on that. Will be Allah save us from that and make us. So lastly, on talking about the hadith, let me just mention this hadith again. He said, Rasulullah say, "Inna likulli dini khuliqan." All religions are known with, all religion has different distinctive characteristics. All religion, Hinduism, Christianity, all of them, those ones we know and those ones that are not even known to us. So they have their own distinctive characteristics. But call Islam ala Hayaa. But that of Islam, it is so special, and that is what Hayaa. This is special to Islam. For us to be a Muslim, then we cannot do without having this. So all these are just to corroborate that fact that as a Muslim, we cannot do without Hayaa. Now, this this by Ibn Mas'ud, when it's when Allah said, "Mimma adraka an-nas min kalamin nubuwwa al-hula." So part of among the words of the prophecy that people have understood, the prophets, talking for Adam, Noah, Dawood alayhi salam. So it is what? He said, it is إذا لم تستطع فاصنع ما شئت. This one is common among what people are used to. It is not, so what this is trying to point out is that this haya we're talking about is not limited to our Ummah, the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has been in existence right from the first prophecy. So this is, the consistency is there. I mean, it has been there for long. Look at this particular Surah Al-Fusilah when Allah said in that verse, He said, verse 40, إن الذين يلحدون في آياتنا لا يخفون علينا أفمن يلقى في النار خير أم من يأتي آمنا يوم القيامة اعملوا ما شئتم إنه بما تعملون بصير. Allah said, إن الذين يلحدون في آياتنا. You see, indeed, for those who abuse our revelations, يلحدون في آياتنا, they're just making mockery or just talking evil about our revelation, the ayat of Allah. But say, لا يخفون علينا. That is not, hidden from us. Allah is in everything. لا يخفون علينا. Allah now asking this rhetorical question that أفمن يلقى في النار أفمن يلقى في النار أمن يأتي آمنا يوم القيامة. Allah is asking that question. Who is better? Who is better? He who will be cast into fire, or he who will be secure on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah? أفمن يلقى في النار خير أمن يأتي آمنا يوم القيامة. اعملوا ما شئتم. Continue to do whatever you like. Do whatever you like. No modesty. Doesn't care. Do anything. إنه بما تعملون بصير. For surely Allah, everything you are doing, Allah is saying it. Allah is also saying, He's doing whatever you are doing. So this is to tell us that for as long as you want to remain a true Muslim, then you cannot do anything you like. You have to act in accordance with the dictate of the Quran and Sunnah. And that is why you need to, if you don't do that, then you are invariably part of these people. So you are not expected, you cannot do whatever we like. So if you are confined with the teachings of Islam, Allah and the Prophet, such that you try as much as possible to avoid anything that could lead to sin or going against the dictates of Allah, then that one is tantamount to modesty. Anything short of that, then you should check yourself. So this is what it implies. So modesty in Islam is a moral quality that is tied to shyness. Everybody knows that. It's tied to shyness, humility, awareness of God's presence, and the likes. Muraqabah. So it encompasses behavior, the way we dress, the way we talk, interaction, with other people, whether in the public or privately. So, and that is why Prophet Muhammad modesty is what is part of iman. Al-Hayaa min al-iman. Now, to conclude on this part of the lecture, we are just going to mention like at least three that scholars of Islam have given different interpretation, definition when it comes to Hayaa. But I'm going to mention just three. But these three, I will just mention the key points from the definition given by these scholars. Perhaps this will increase our understanding. And at the end of the day, I believe this definition we are going to talk about will have summarized whatever understanding we are, expected to have when it comes to this topic we're talking about. Now, the first one, let's look at what Imam Ibn Qayyim or Imam Allah, what he said about it. He said, Al-Haya dalilun ala ta'zimillahi wala khawf min al-wuqu'i fima yugbudu. I said, Al-Haya, modesty, dalilun ala ta'zimillah. This is like a proof, something that will show us that, that will tell us that yes, ala ta'zimillah, that's something that is a proof that, or that is tied to the to awareness of God. Yes, ta'zimillah. Wala khawf min al-wuqu'i fi ma yaghbuduhu, and at the same time it will also make us protect ourselves. I mean, try to avoid sin that will lead to the wrath of Allah. So that is that on that. It will guide us. Modesty is tied to the awareness of God and the avoidance of what? Of sin, which could lead to our destruction. So the wrath of Allah on us. So may Allah save us from that. That is number one. Then let's look at the definition given by. This is not the exact definition notes, but it's just the key point in his explanation to Hayaa. Now, Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, what does he say about it? He said, summarily, the key point, he said, Al-Haya huwa suluku shamil yaqi min al-fawahish. I said, modesty, suluku shamil, it's a comprehensive moral. Yaqi min al-fawahish, that shield, that protect from, that protect or that shield from against indecencies, fawahish. If someone is modest, has that modesty, then it will not be found wanting, doing all sort of, immoralities or whatever, because that sense of modesty is there. So it's going to protect him from, so that is the way he described, the main point. Then the third one, lastly on this, it's Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah. What's the main point he mentioned here? He said, Al-Haya yanbigu min ash-shu'ur al-qalbi bimarakibati. It is something, Al-Haya is something that stems or that rises from the heart in such a way that it will now lead to spiritual consciousness. Something that emanates, that stems from, that grows, that rises from the heart, and that leads to what? Muraqabati lie, that is God consciousness. You feel Allah's presence every time. That is how. If you look at all these three, there are so many other scholars, but because of this is not meant to be just to give us an insight to some of what the definition. I believe this one is more than enough to have a clarity, to have the clarity on what this topic is all about. It's very comprehensive, very, very comprehensive. That's Al-Haya. Now, talking about the forms or the classification of Haya, Al-Haya fil Islam qad yakunu fi thalathat al-awja'. Some scholars, okay, let me say a scholar to be precise, because he has categorized Haya in in three form. He said, Ala Hayauhu min Allah. Then the second one, Ala Hayauhu minan nas. Then the third one said, Ala Hayauhu min nafsihi. So that is modesty from Allah, modesty from people, then modesty from oneself. So we've seen a scholar also divided that the second one into two parts. He said that alayahu minan nas is divided into two, the living and the dead, because as long as you are expected to be modest from people that are living, it should also extend to people that have died. And that is why if someone is not, if you respect someone so much, let's say your father, and he has passed away, something that he does not like ordinarily, that if he was to be alive, then if he's not alive, if he's dead, then if you really love your father, then you should not do it in his presence, because you should know that he's seeing you. Those that are dead are seeing us, but we cannot see them. So, and he gave a lot of some examples that we can also be modest from people that are dead, as long as it does not go contrary to that of Allah, the teaching of that of Allah. So, but generally speaking, this we can say modesty is divided into two. It's divided into two. We have the one that is tabi'i, that is the natural one, the natural modesty, and the acquired one. Now, which ones are the natural one? An example of this is something that is innate in an innate sense, especially in children. So if a child sees a stranger, the way he does, we will be shy. Some will cry, some will, that is something that is natural. Or naturally, if a man, a man's aura is trying to, or is about to be exposed, the way he tried to cover it up. So, like it happened to our father, Prophet Adam, alayhi salam, and his wife, when Shaitan, like this, by in Surah I think Surah Al-Araf, in Surah Al-Araf also, when Allah said, "Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, fazalla that surah, this fadallahuma bigurur falamma zaqa shajara baddat lahuma sawatuhuma wa tafiqa yahsifan alayhima min waqatil jannah falamma zaqa shajaratan baddat lahuma sawatuhuma wa tafiqa yahsifani alayhima min waraqil jannah. So when Shaitan deceived them that they should taste from the fruit, that particular tree, after when they tasted the whatever, the falamma zaqo, the two of them, when they tasted it, not only one of them, shajara, but that lahuma, then they now started to be conscious of their nudity, their nakedness. They will now start running to get something out of shyness, that modesty, to cover themselves in Jannah. So this is natural. It's something that is innate, something that is natural. And that's why when you see someone, a lady wearing something that is not, befitting for a human being, if she wants to sit down in a public, you see them, maybe she will try to adjust, or when she want to pick something from the ground, That shyness is there naturally, but I don't know. But it's just unfortunate that, you know, we try to emulate or try to copy some people, and that is why. But Allah has made it in such a way that you will know that this is you know that modesty is there. Then for even for the male, you see a male maybe wearing tight or a very small when he's praying, maybe when he knows that whenever he feel that his clothes is exposing his his back, the upper bottom is not exposed, being exposed, then he will just be dragging it every time. It's part of shyness because he knows. Then that is a natural one. Then the acquired one, that is the essence of this lecture. We are meant to grow our faith and awareness of God such that we will be modest from Allah. So the more you work on this, the more you acquire that consciousness and that modesty. So that moral cover will be there, and it's very, very good. And this is what is expected of us. So we need to work on this and make sure we improve. So and this is the and this this is strengthened by spiritual reflection, righteous complaint, and self restraint. So this is the acquired one. Now, let's briefly talk about the first one we mentioned. That is al-muraqaba, that modesty from Allah. Islam, a Muslim is expected to be always conscious of God's presence. That is taqwa. You must be always conscious of anywhere we find ourselves, whether we are alone, in private, or we are in the public. We should always be conscious of Allah. So this one will help us in attaining this modesty. Now let's look at what Umar ibn Khattab has said. He said, if you hold on, all you need to do, just hold on to your salat. If you hold on to your salat, because it's very key. If you hold on to your salat, okay, he said, why do you need to hold on to your salat? To attain everything. Because if you lose your salat, you lose everything. That's your connection. That is something that we establish, that muraqabah, that connection between you and your Allah. And that's why you see so many people today pray, they do salat, they pray 5 times, but you see them doing a lot of evil, something that is not decent. So that salat is tanya, salat tanya al-fashai wal munkari, but it's not happening for them. So you need to feel Allah's presence with your salat. You need to gain Allah's consciousness from your salat before you can benefit. So humility is part of it before Allah. In terms of our prayer, that is khushu. If you don't concentrate in your salat, you don't try to feel Allah's present in your salat, the khushu will not be there. So this is part of it. And you always be shy. Always be shy to sing because before Allah. Even if no one is seeing you, look at someone trying to open the door. You can fine. Nobody is seeing you, but think that nobody is seeing you, but Allah is seeing you. Then if you desist from that, then you have true fear, true modesty from Allah. If not, then you are not. You are still far from that. So it's very, very important. This is the key thing, the most important thing. Now let's quickly talk about the social and the legal expression when it comes to this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has categorically stated in the Quran the way we are meant to dress for men, how we are meant to portray ourselves in the public. He said just to promote modesty. In Surah Surah to Nuh, Quran chapter 24, verse 30 to 31, Quran chapter 3, verse 39. Like this, Allah say, Kul lil mu'minin yaghuddu min absarihim wa yahfazu furujahum. This one is for the male, not it's only male that Allah has instructed to lower their gaze. This one is for the male. Lower your gaze. Zalika adhika lahum. This one is what? This one is like a reminder. Something is this is good for you. Inna Allah khabirun bima yasna'un. Because Allah is seeing whatever, everything you are doing, Allah is seeing. Allah will tell you, will give you, we tell you this is what you have done. This is what you have not lowered your gate. This time you have seen this, you have done that, you've done this. So the same thing goes for the female. And so on like that. So Allah has enjoined the female to lower their gaze, they should make sure that they don't reveal their adornment. They should not go about, exposing what they are meant to keep to their husband alone. So this is just to make sure that the environment is there's no indecency or immoral acts in the society, and that is why this is very, very key. As Muslim, we just have to abide by this one. Now, today, people are eager. Some men are eager to say, that sister, she doesn't have a boy. The way she's dressing, her hijab is this, blah blah blah. But I can tell you, some sisters are trying. Is because of their level of awareness in terms of modesty, that understanding, this kind of lecture, or maybe they are not, or this is to the extent they understand how they should, they should appear in the public. Some of them were doing it sincerely, but some brothers, if what they are doing is even, in fact, is even worse. You see a brother wearing, what is it called, when you wear tight? What is different? A brother that is wearing a very tight trouser that is showing what is meant to be conceived in your body. You wear tight, you show, you want to, you display your six pack or whatever. What is the difference? It's not, Allah is not only instructing female to do that. Brothers you also do that. If you must wear any clothes, you should ask yourself, is this clothes okay? If it is too small for you, that will review, especially when you're talking, it will review everything, especially when there's breeze or when people will just be saying whatever. You are also disturbing the sisters as well. Just like you feel that the sisters, you are being disturbed the way they dress, and you'll be thinking, sisters, even they might not tell you, but you have to be very careful about this. So it's not only limited to the sisters, both brothers and sisters. The way we dress, we need to be very, very careful. We need to be modest in our dressing. Now the same thing goes for the gender stuff. We need to make sure that free mixing, gender and modesty, that free mixing should, as Muslim, anywhere we find ourselves, we should not hide our identity. Islam does not, Islam frown at that free mixing. Yes, because of course, if you don't do it, they will think you are not corporate, or you are not you don't socialize, something like that. There's limit to everything. You can socialize, but within the limit Islam has set for you. So not to say, okay, in the name of being social, and because nobody's seeing you, mashallah, if you are, your brothers, you do as if, yes, mashallah brother, mashallah sister, you will not, you'll be looking down, you will not, but when you are, okay, nobody to say, brother, what are you doing? What is this? Then you just relax and do whatever. No, that khushu, that Hayaa is not there. It has to be from Allah, not from people. And that is why a scholar, when he was describing, when he was trying to explain what is Hayaa, You know, if they ask us, they will think Haya is someone who is shame out of, I mean, it's something, someone that has shame. But he said it's not the same. Why? If someone is, if I have something good in me, if I have something in me that is not good, or don't let me use myself. Maybe someone has something in his body that is not good and is not comfortable with it. He now covers it. He's now using hijab. Let's say his sister now, he's now using hijab. Maybe he has something, maybe eczema in his cheek or where. He's now using, that sister has, no. She's doing it because of what we call, because he's ashamed of what she has on her body. That's not Haya. So when you are doing, because, and it is, or when you are doing it because you are in a means of brothers that will complain, or that will, brother Akila and Shay, what are you doing? What is this? And you don't want people to talk about that, I mean, to accuse you. That one is a temporary whatever. Because if you find yourself in another situation, in another environment that allows or that does not frown at that act, you will do it. You will do it comfortably. That is why he's saying that it's not shame. Shame is just something that is temporary because of, it's not as, it's not the exact meaning opposite of Haya. Haya is when you are having something, you are doing something just to seek the pleasure of Allah, not just because of Allah. That is our Haya. That is why, and I think that is very, very important. We have like less than 10 minutes, so let me quickly rush through this. Yes, modesty in speech, behavior. Some of us, we need to be, in fact, we need to always caution ourselves when we are talking. You don't talk too much. The more you talk, the more mistake, the more error you make. And more yalfisu min qawlin illa more yalfisu min qawlin. You will not say anything, except that there are angels beside you that are writing what you are doing, writing it down. So that is why you need to be very, very careful. You need to be modest in our speech. You don't talk to upset people. You don't, I don't tolerate nonsense. If you say nonsense, I will give you back. I'm not, you know where I came from. I don't tolerate rubbish. So you need to, and when it comes to, discussion, argument, you need to be very, very careful. Excessive argument lead to hatred. We need to avoid it. So we need to be modest in our discussion, in our talking, in our behavior, disposition to people. Let people see the beauty of Islam in us. It's very, very important. Now, because of like this, there's a particular hadith, all of us must have heard this hadith, but just as a reminder, say, Laysa shadid bisurah. Laysa shadid bisurah, innama shadid alladhi yamliku nafsahu inda al-ghadab. It's not it is not the strong one is not he who defeats others in wrestling. Yes, I have this, I can beat this, I can, no, it's not, that is not a, but is the one is he who controls, who has control, who can control himself when it comes to anger. Somebody has offended you, somebody has made you, it's like fire is coming, but you just calm down because of Allah. So then you are a strong man. Not that any small thing, back, any small thing, you just scatter everywhere. And you say you are strong. You are not strong. Even if you are strong, you are not strong. So that is very, very important. We need to caution ourselves for that. Then let me quickly rush to some of, because this is very important. Some of the stories of that illustrate modesty. During the time of the prophet, we've had, we must have had a lot of incidents when prophet demonstrated this. In terms, there was a time during the wedding, I think it was Zainab. Zainab, when he was marrying, people were around trying to, people just to celebrate with them. It was time for them. Prophet was telling them to have, to leave, but they were just enjoying themselves, and the prophet, we couldn't tell them. He was shy. He was just being modest. How he went to Aisha room, he came back. People were still there trying to signal, but people now they were carried away. They were not until he just draw the curtain, you know, stylishly, then and they got the message. So that is out of being shy. So even if you want to relate with people, you need to relate with humility, with dignity, not to be too blunt and the likes. So now, and it was reported that Prophet Muhammad was known for extreme modesty even before he became the prophet. There was a time when they were trying to restore the Kaaba, the stone in the Kaaba. So when he was carrying it, when he was carrying that stone, his cloth, it was that wrapper he was carrying, the cloth he was got loose. You know what happened to him? He, out of shyness, he fainted. Subhanallah. Out of shyness, he had never become the prophet then, no, because of that natural instinct. He fainted. That clothes got loosened. Look at what is happening today. So many people are walking nakedly and no sense of modesty. May Allah save us from that. Look at the instance of the Prophet Musa, alayhi salam. When Prophet Musa, when he helped Zafara, the daughter of Shuaib, to fetch water in the well, when their father sent for him, when he was going, she was walking in front of Musa, but out of shyness, out of being model, he requested her to stay behind so that he walk in the front. You understand? So out of that, and the way he was relating with the daughter, with her, very polite, very modest. So he did not see it as an opportunity because he has helped them. So and he has to enjoy what he has done. No, that is it. So we need to we need to learn from that. Look at the time. There was a time people accused Prophet Musa alayhi salam that is deformed. He has some defects in its private part. He's physically, he has some, people are just, spreading the rumor around. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he wanted to purify him, he wanted to clear him, he exposed, maybe when he was taking his bath or something like that. So where he placed his clothes, Allah made breeze to take it away. And as he was running to catch it, and people now saw, how he was really, and they now, got it that he was not actually having any defect. And it was because of his shyness. He always hide his privacy, not that he would just be flaunting, anybody can just see his privacy, whatever. So this example that you need to be very strict when it comes to your privacy is mainly for you alone, except your spouse. Nobody, not even your parent or your brother, whatever, should see anything. So this is clear as far as Islam is concerned. Now let me quickly talk about this. I think I can within 2 minutes because I can see time is fast spent. There was a time Zaid, Thabit was coming from Fajr. So I think he went late. So he met people coming, back. He was ashamed. Out of the, shyness, he was just looking down. And what was he saying? He said, whoever does not is not man lam yastati nas lam yastati la. Whoever is not modest from people, cannot be modest from Allah because out of his shyness, you know. So now lastly on this, a woman was reported to have come to the Prophet Muhammad and requesting him to. He said, "Oh Prophet," he said she used to have a, she normally have what is it called, the seizure, this seizure. So such that whenever it happened, all her body, she was not comfortable. He said she's not always comfortable, that her body, everything will be exposed, whatever. That he should pray, was asking the prophet to pray for her, such that this thing will go. She will not have that again. You know what the prophet told her? He said, okay, I will pray, but on one condition. If I pray, that seizure will go, you will not have it. Then, of course, you're a Muslim, continue to pray, perhaps you will enter paradise after you die. But if you continue to endure, I can assure you that you will enter paradise. So which one do you want? He said, oh, I will endure. But he now said, please, let me ask you one thing. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always protect me, so that even if I'm having that seizure, my private part will not be exposed, out of modesty. And when scholars were explaining what she meant by privacy, does not mean that maybe what her pants or whatever will. No. The way they dress is different from what people dress. Even if she falls, she has whatever, maybe her hand or part of her leg, or just part of her hand that will be exposed, or her clothes, not what we think, the horror that will be exposed when such thing happen. So look at the level of shyness you have among people. Now, lastly, let me quickly talk about some of the characteristics of some people, or some of the characteristics that you will see in people without Hayaa, because it's very key. According to a contemporary scholar, he said the first one, he gave 4 characteristics. The first one is that you will notice that they do whatever those people, that you call them, they are superficial sham, such that they do anything that make them receive follower. Maybe they have a YouTube channel or whatever, or anything that will attract, that will make people receive them. They don't care. So this is the first bit. So, and that thing is even contrary to what they believe, even if that thing is even contrary to what they believe in. So whether it is wrong or right, they don't care. As long as they are cool. Hey, that guy is a cool guy. And thumbs up, and they have follower. So this is what they do. Then the second characteristic is these people, they are so reckless. You understand? They do reckless things without shame. They do whatever their mind tells them, without considering the consequence. They don't care. Then the third point he made is that they have extreme confidence. They have extreme confidence. And the last one is that what? They have very low anxiety. They don't fear anything or anybody. So such kind of people, they don't have Hayaa. And if you don't have Hayaa, then you are lifeless. A life without Hayaa is a lifeless body. It's a lifeless human being. We pray Allah save us from that. On a final note, if we have Hayaa, this will promote our internal peace and dignity. There's no doubt about that. If we have Hayaa, it will be good for us here and hereafter. I say, anything that comes out of Hayaa, kullu khair. La yati illa bi khair. Nothing will come out of Hayaa except that is good. So we have peace and dignity. So it's, and not only for you, even in the society. If like 50% of us are having Hayaa, or let's say 100% of us, we have Iman of Hayaa, our society there will be peace in our society. Then the second one is that it builds that, respect and moral societies. There will be respect, mutual respect when there is this. And, you know, and it will even protect individual from that's what we call, from individuals from, exploitation, you know, that you always focus on only, their appearance. You say, okay, physical appearances alone. No. So this is very, very important. Now, before I just round up finally. Sorry. Let me just mention some of these points that concerning. So, Haya, it's something that brings good to individual. You understand? And it's something that indicates faith. It brings good to us, and it's a sign of faith. So we should try to work on it. And when we want to compare Haya and shyness, I think I mentioned it. Shyness and cowardness. Comparing shyness and cowardness. You understand? So Islamically, they are not synonymous. As Haya and cowardness. Even Prophet Muhammad, he was never shy to say the truth, even if he does not like it. So if something is wrong, you understand, prophets will not hesitate to say it. So don't say because I want to be modest, and you see something. I know the prophet said, "Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi, fa in lam yastati fa bilisanihi, fa in lam yastati fa biqalbihi, wa zalika ad'afu al-iman." And you said, okay, I want to be modest. You are not talking, or because you are a coward or whatever. So you need to check that. Then modesty is an element of faith. So, and indecency has no relation to it. Modesty has no relationship with what? With indecency. So we should always note that. And another thing is that,
So we should round off now because we have a number of questions already. Right.
okay. I think I will round up now. We pray Allah forgive the speakers, the speaker and the listeners, and make this one beneficial for us, and make it an hujah for us and not against us. Akuli koli aza. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Please stop the wonderful lecture. Alhamdulillah, so lifting, highly enlightening. Please, everyone, let's say Jazakumullah khairan to our stars. If you're unable to unmute to say that, kindly.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاك الله
جزاكم الله
خيرا.
خيرا.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. We have a number of questions
جزاكم الله
already.
خيرا.
I would have done a quick recap because
جزاك
I've
الله
taken
خيرا.
a lot of notes, but because of time, I will just move straight to taking the questions and answers. So I'll start with the first one. I think that is from, I think Sister Hafsa has a question, and I've seen 3 other questions in the chat. I also have 4 questions with myself, so we'll rush through them, inshallah. So let's start with the person raising their hand. Sister Hafsa, please, you can unmute yourself and ask.
What does
Yes,
I forgot the word?
the word.
Yeah.
Is that the English
Haya.
word? Is it haya or modesty?
Modesty.
Modesty, okay. Jazakumullah. That is Yusuf Yahya, am I correct? So it's saying what is modesty.
Yeah.
So Ustaz, you can add okay, maybe when you are done with this quickly, then I will ask the other questions. Ustaz, you are muted if you are saying something. Ustaz, are you there? Okay, so while we're waiting for Ustaz, if he's probably busy with something or maybe his network.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I was muted. Yes, Hayaa, well, just like we mentioned, it has, but broadly speaking, it's just about you being conscious of Allah, being conscious of Allah to do the right thing and make sure you avoid anything that will lead to the wrath of Allah. You understand? Feel Allah's presence anywhere. Feel Allah's presence whether in private or in public. In your speech, the way you dress, anything you do, ask yourself, is this, it's like you, if your parent, if you love your parent and your parent does not like something, you will not want to do that thing in the front before your parent because you are shy. You don't want your parent to complain. So the same thing for Allah. You love Allah. If Allah says you should not do something, don't do it. If Allah says you should do something, do it for Allah. That is what? Modesty. It's cut across all facets of our life. Our speech, the way we worship, the way summary. Allah Alam.
Jazakumullah khairan, Ustaz. I hope that was well gotten. Just an addition to what Ustaz has been explaining. We have a question here from Sister Madina. Assalamu alaikum. Is it part of lacking modesty? Is it part of lacking modesty when, as part of advertising an event, attendees are asked to dress to impress? That word impress is what I'm feeling uncomfortable with, but does it connote not being modest? This usually happens in some social events, though. Jazakallah khair. That's the question. So the question is about is it part of lacking modesty when, as part of advertising an event, maybe the organizers ask the attendees to dress to impress? And does that dressing to impress as part of the event something that connotes not being modest? That's the question.
Yes, the main thing is that as long as that dressing is within the teaching of Islam, maybe you are not exposing what you are meant to cover. You understand? Then you as a Muslim should have the intention to please Allah in your dressing. Anything we do it for Allah's sake. So whether you are attracting customer or not, whatever, that is secondary to you. What I'm doing, but if it is contrary to what, like as a sister now, you are told to not to wear hijab or not to wear mini skirt because you want to attract customer, then that is not modesty. As long if it is outside what Islam preaches, is not modesty. The modesty from Allah comes first, comes before anything. Wallahu alam.
So Ustaz, on this question, the if I get correctly, of course we know that modesty is for Islam, for the sake of Islam, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in this regard, they say in Yoruba that irinisi ni ìsọnilọ́jọ̀. So for example, maybe as part of an event, the organizers don't want people to just dress casually like they would on a normal day when they are just walking in the streets, but they want them to look beyond normal just to be able to carry out the feel of the event. And they are not necessarily telling people not to dress in according to their to Islam, but they just want them to appear different than they would on a normal day, and for the sake of actualizing the goals of the event. Does that connote not being modest
Is it for a male or female?
for male and female generally?
If it is for a
It's just
male, there's no problem because they cannot tell a male not to, I mean, to wear short or to wear boxer.
yeah.
They will maximum they will tell them, okay, wear suit, corporate, which is okay, or make sure you wear, put on tie. But for female, the problem I know for sure in this kind of situation, maybe they will tell a female, to them they don't see hijab as being, maybe they will not see hijab, you don't want to attract people. So you just have to let them know you cannot compromise Islam because you want to, you want to be, okay, take for instance, you are told to be corporate, maybe to wear a skirt, wear a mini skirt, or don't wear hijab because you want to attract customer. So if you attract customer and you earn money for your company, so what are you going to gain from that? What value has he added to you? Is it your work that comes first or Allah that comes first? So I don't know in this what the
Yeah, yeah,
context.
yeah. I think the questioner clarified that the question is more about Islamic events, and then not just a mundane and all, but it's an Islamic event, and they don't
Fine,
want to just
fine. If
dress
it is an Islamic
casually.
event, if an
Casually, yeah.
Islamic event, then you dress normally. Your hijab, you want to wear your hijab normally, ironed. You don't,
Yeah.
things like that. That is dressed in such a way that anybody that sees you is okay. MashaAllah. These
The
are
Muslim,
Muslims. More so,
mashallah.
it's an Islamic event. But
Naam.
we should not compromise that Islamic dressing for any other thing. This is
Naam.
my point. Wallahu alam.
Jazakumullah khair. I think that is well gotten. Also, someone asked what okay, so this question is not related. Okay, I'll come back to the question. So now there's this question, Assalamu alaikum salam. How do you handle immodest dressing of grown-up daughters that prayed regularly and even wake up at midnight to perform sunnah prayers? So how do you handle immodest dressing of such grown-up daughters?
Now, that's a very good question. If I wanted to mention that, but because of time, whatever. So, we as parents, we need to try as much as possible to inculcate that modesty in our uh, children. We have to start telling them this is what modesty entails. As you are a Muslim, this is what you're meant to do. This is your aura. This is the limit and things like that. Before before she grown to that stage, we ought to have started earlier. So we continue like this kind of lecture is very comprehensive. This topic is so much. I have my personally, I myself, personally, I have benefited from it. So we need this kind of thing for our people, just to conscientize them, to increase that awareness so that they will know that this is what it entails and how to go about it. So we should not relent. Just keep telling them this is what modesty entails as long as you are a Muslim. So Allah Alam. May Allah make it easy.
Jazakallah khairan for that, Ustaz. Also, this is also to all parents. We need to also imbibe the consciousness, just like Ustaz has said, the consciousness in the young ones from their very tender age to let them know this is what Islam says, to have them repeat it every now and then, every day, to have like some sort of akasori, memorizable contents that they will always repeat, and this will be a part of them as they grow. And when they are of age as well, we should always remind them, talk to them about it, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about these concerns, because of course they definitely get to some certain points where they become a bit contumacious. So we need to pray about it regularly, talk to them about it regularly, and never relent, just like Ustaz has said. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our children. I mean, I have yet another question. Um, some people are asking some questions here. I will come back to them at the very last. Um, but let me ask one of the questions that our young ones have asked when you talked about privacy and all, and then I think it's just a question from the very young ones. I don't want to skip it because they have asked it about 3 times. So what if you are asked by a younger child, a child to bathe his younger, maybe a young sibling that is much more older than, and all of that. That's what should you do? Because we talked about privacy. But I think generally, maybe you just need to address the young ones there to let them know that when they are still young, and some of the things that they might be permissible for to do. Ustaz, did you get that?
Yes, you need to be telling them. Don't assume that they are too young. Tell them this is
Yeah.
your privacy. Nobody should see it. But if that person need assistance, okay, wash the I will just help you to wash your back. You understand? So that you not be looking at the private. Okay, okay, don't worry, take it. I mean, you should that caution should be there. You have to let them feel that okay, you are being even you are helping them. You are being cautious, not just do it recklessly. Let them feel that that so don't think because they are young, except they are baby, they are like in less than 2 or 3 or they don't know anything. That one is different. But anything 5, whatever that, especially children that are conscious, they know that you don't do it recklessly. After all, we're fine, so you have to comply. No, you just have to tell them. Allah, Allah.
I mean, Jazakumullah khairan. There's a question here about Qabli and Ba'di. I'll come back to it, inshallah, before at the very end, because we still have some more related questions. So this question is regarding um, social media. So modesty with regards to new age social media and social life. For example, some things that in some other places or communities like in Africa, they may consider as immodest. In some, let's say, more civilized, connected, civilized places, like maybe the Asian world, Europe, and everything, some things might not be considered in their community as immodest. So where do we draw the line on social media between doing what does not cause you to be ashamed and what is sinful?
Yes, that one is relative. Like in our place now, you
Mm.
don't see men wearing wrapper. But if you go to Asian, you see Bangladesh or whatever, they wear wrapper and t-shirt. You understand? If you do that in our place, you will be ashamed. What is this? So that one does not contradict anything in Islam. As long as you cover your aura. But anything that is contrary or anything that contradicts Islam, let's say that in your culture now, you will now leave you will not tie your wrapper, you will just leave you will naked, your tie, and because that's your nature. No, that contradicts Islam. As long as the basic thing we have, the fundamental is taken care of, so any other thing, you have to act with respect to your environment. So Islam accepts that. Islam, there's no problem with that. Allah alam.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I mean, also, I think this is the last question I have before I come to the Qabli and Badi. This is a two question in one question. And I'm asking because this is part of the prevailing trending sort of issues on social media in the past week. So someone has posted and people are giving different perspective on it, advice on it, how to some adolescents experts and thereabout, or children experts are also giving advice on how to handle it. But this is also something that we should not be finding in Muslim homes, but just want to ask about it nonetheless. So what happened was that a 10-year-old boy uh, who happened to be playing around maybe on holidays, and his parents are in the house, and they feel that the children are just playing away. So they be a bit careless about the doors of their room, and the parents were having their private time. And the boy eventually came into the home and found them in the act. So question is, afterwards he became withdrawn to himself, such a child. So first question is, how should this scenario be handled afterwards by the parents? And then secondly is, what would you say is the cause of the scenario itself, the issue, and how should it be avoided by parents?
This is a very unfortunate, scenario. So that's why parents need to be very, very careful. We need to be, proactive. We don't have to be too relaxed.
No.
So I don't know. This is we will not say this is medicine after death.
Having a child open the door to the room of the parents.
So we just have to. There's nothing we can do. It has happened. So we just had to orientate the children and you know try to correct them and make sure such thing never happen again. But if there's as far as the law is concerned, if it is in this place, I don't know how. Maybe they can consult, what is it called? This expert on that, how to,
A counselor, like a
to counsel the children. But Islamically, it's something that is unfortunate. So, but we just need to guide against that. So it is better. Prevention is better than cure. You need to be very, very strict when it comes to that. You need to tell this kind of lecture is not something that's just from time to time, especially for just to get them aware of what they are meant to know as far as Islam is concerned, so that they will not even near so many people. When you see them using social media, what they are saying is even worse compared to what they are saying. So they think they have free access to anything. This is what trigger This was what must have triggered all this emotion and the likes. So we need to, be more cautious on that. May Allah guide us and make it easy. Assalamu alaikum.
Amen. Jazakumullahu khairan wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Uh, this is also to every parents. Our children are quickly growing, and in the name of work interaction, we should not, just like Ustaz has emphasized, we should not joke with the dictates of Islam. The especially in the way we relate with ourselves, we relate with people, and we relate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not, it's a boundary line, we do not cross them. We need to also let our young ones know where the boundary lines in privacy, and don't not having anyhow access into our private lives, our rooms, and private discussions that have with our spouses and the likes. They should definitely have a clear boundary line understanding of all of this, and also with themselves and others too. We need to sensitize them so much that the issues that are happening in the 21st, the new age, would not be affecting our homes and our children and the way they treat with others. Some they're having girls' day out, and all of them girls are bathing together in a single toilet and a single bathroom. And all of these are girls of age and all of that. So we need to sensitize them regularly about all of this because it's part of modesty in Islam. Jazakumullah khairan. And finally is the question of Qabli and Ba'di. That does Qabli and Ba'di, does it affect, does it cover all of the mistakes? Does it atone all of the mistakes committed during the Salah? So Ustaz would answer that.
Now,
Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qabli and Badi is meant to atone for mistakes that are Sunnah. Sunnah part of Salat. Salat is divided, we have like three, whatever. We have the Sunnah, the wajib part of the Salat, and we have the compulsory part of the Salat, and we have the Fadail. So the compulsory one, just like recitation of Fatiha, wa qiyam Allah, qira'atul Fatiha, wa qiyam Allah, wa ruku', wa rafu minhu, sujud, wa rafu minhu. Those ones are compulsory. If you omit that one in one raka, you need to return it. If you finish that raka, you need to repay back that raka. There's no badi or badi qabli. You have to do it before you can pay qabli or badi.
Yeah.
If you forget, then you need to repay it. But the one you can, use sunnah, you can use qabli or badi for. Take for instance, where you are supposed to stand up to do attire, tashahud. After the second raka, you did not, you forgot to stand up, or you missed that tashahud. That's first tashahud is sunnah. If you miss it, you don't need to bother yourself. You just continue, then you do qabli or badi. You understand? If you do badi, it covers everything. Badi is just bada taslim. If you add, you are supposed to do pray four raka and you pray 5 raka. You do badi. If you omit, then you do qabli. But scholars, or for general consensus is that qabli, takes care of everything. Whether you are doubting, is it qabli or badi, you don't need to bother yourself. Just do qabli. But if you don't know, maybe after you must have done the salama, then you now remember, you can do badi. Wallahu alam. So the point is that sunnah, qabli or badi can only cater for sunnah. You understand? But if it is fadail, there are something that you don't even need qabli or badi. You understand? Like you don't say subhanallah walhamdulillah, or you don't say kunut, or you don't say that one is, or you forgot sami Allah namidahu, or you did not say takbir, maybe not more than 1 or 2 times. You don't need the qabli or badi. Wallahu alam. I hope
Okay,
it's clear.
yes, I believe that's clear from the person who has asked the question. Um, Jazakumullah khairan. Ustad, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly. Also, from the question the person has asked about Salah, you should also try to read a book on Salah. If Ustaz can also recommend some books to keep on Salah, so you can understand all of this very well and you will not be mistaken when you're trying to atone for your mistakes on Salah. May Allah reward us abundantly. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone, for attending the Usrah today. If you have any other questions regarding the topic of today, you can send it to myself or you can post it in the uh to any of the administrators of Muslim Forum of Beating, and inshallah the stars who would answer, and we will share it back in the general groups. If you are on this platform and you are here for the first time, you're not in any of the MFB groups, the Muslim Forum of Britain, please reach out to me, or you can send in the comment section that you wish to be added into the group, and you will be added, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also be follow up with every of our programs therefrom. Also, for those who know that everyone knows that the annual conference, summer conference is forthcoming, and of course registration has been closed down already. So for those who have registered and you have not booked your what's it called, holidays ahead, so now is the time to book ahead so you don't forget. Okay, there is a book, Sujud al-Sahab, by Sheikh Salih bin Uthaymeen, and it's a very good book on the topic. It's been posted on the group chat. You can try to get that and read, and increase your knowledge about Salah. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone. See you next Usra. Inshallah, we'll let you know what time it will fall on, but follow up in the groups. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum salam. For the younger
Well,
ones, inshallah, your conference continues. I think the next session will be in about 15 minutes. So join the usual login details, okay? See you on the other side, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم